Hey everyone, welcome back to the series. This is episode 4 of building our chat app in C from scratch. In the last episode, we displayed a single message onto the screen. As you guys can see right here, we also did input handling and we organized our code into separate files. Yeah, you guys can see it works here. Today we're building out our message list data structure so we can display multiple messages like in a real chat application. I'll walk you guys through the logic structure and code step by step as we're building it out. If you guys are enjoying the series, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. You can also leave a comment down below. And also, if you guys can recommend a name to me as well. So we can, because right now it's just called Chat App. So you guys can comment down below, give me a name, and let's jump right into it. Alright guys, so let's start by creating a message list.h file. Alright, so now that we have done that, let me just initialize it with our header guards. We're gonna include some headers. We're gonna include stdlib. We're gonna include string.h. We're gonna include sdl2/sdl.h. We're gonna define a structure. Type def struct message. Message underscore t. It's gonna have a char pointer text. It's gonna have a SDL rect canvas. It's also gonna have another SDL rect. Let's call it text canvas. And let's define the message list structure now, guys. So we're gonna do a type def struct message list. It's gonna contain a message underscore t pointer messages, and it's gonna have a size t of message count. We're also now gonna define some functions now, guys. So let's do a void message list. Oh, I forgot to do message list underscore t right there. So let's do a void message list underscore append function. No, underscore add. So it's gonna take in a pointer to our message list, and it's gonna take in a message, and we're gonna have a message list destroy function, and it's gonna take in a message list t message list, and it's gonna free all the memory that we allocated. Let's make this be a const char pointer message. Let's add another function. Let's create a void message underscore destroy. It's gonna take in a message t pointer, message, and let's create another file now, guys, that we're gonna write our source code in. And we just copy all of these function prototypes. So we're gonna create a message list.c file. We're gonna include our message list.h. We're just gonna paste in our function prototypes. And let's create our message list add function. So our message list add function will just do this. We'll just say if, let's see. Let's also create another file, guys. Let's call it strings.h, and let's create a strings.c as well. So we're gonna do a hash fn def underscore strings underscore h, hash define underscore strings h, hash end if. We're gonna include stdlib.h. We're gonna include string.h. We're gonna do a type, create a function prototype. Let's call it string loop str. What this function will do, it will allow us to duplicate a given string. So it will take in a string and it will duplicate it. Yeah, let's also create a concat str function, which will allow us to concatenate a string with another. So it will take in a char pointer destination string, and it will take in a const char pointer source string, and it will essentially append it to the end of that string. Now let's create these two functions now, guys. So I'm just gonna copy those prototypes. Let's create the dupe str function. So we're gonna need to include our strings.h. Now to duplicate the string, we're gonna have a check. So we're gonna say char pointer new str equals to malloc. Let's first also get this length of our string. So we'll say string length equals to the string length of our string. Let's also turn this into a boolean so we can check if duplication was successful or not. So because we're using the bool property, we'll need to include the standard boolean.h library. And let's turn each one of these into just booleans. Wait, let's just make this one a char pointer because we're gonna return a pointer from this function. Yeah, let's just do that. But leave the string concat str function as a boolean. So let's replace this with a sharp pointer. So the first thing we need to do, we need to ensure that the string that we're duplicating is not equal to null. So we can just do not equal to null, or we can just do a not, which will do the same thing essentially. Then we'll just return null immediately from our function. We'll get the length of our string. We'll then say malloc string length plus 1, because we'll need to null terminate our new string. And we'll say, once we have done that, guys, we'll just say new str at index string length is equal to null, so that we essentially null terminate our string. We can just say string copy new str string. Now guys, malloc, it can fail to allocate memory. So we need to ensure that our new string is valid. So cause if it is null, then that means malloc failed. So we can say if not new string, then return null. So we will exit our function. Otherwise, we can just copy our string into our new string. So new str. And then we can just return our new string. Now for the concatenation function, let's do that right now. So we will first need to check if our source string is not null as well, because we don't want to copy null pointers into anything. So we'll just return false in this case. And let's just create a new pointer or a new string, and we'll say we'll also get the size of our source string. So size t source string length equals to the string length of our source string. We'll then say malloc source string length plus 1. We'll also need to get the length of our destination string. So we'll say we'll have a size t for our destination string length, which will be the string length of our dereferenced destination string, and then we can use the ternary operator, guys, because our destination string can be null. And if we call string length of on our destination string and it is null, then we will get a segmentation fault within our program. So we'll just say if our destination string is not null, meaning this memory address is valid, then we'll get the string length. Otherwise, we'll just make the destination string length be 0. And then now, guys, we can just say new string will be equal to our, let's use realloc instead. So we'll say new string equals to realloc destination string So we'll dereference our destination string. We'll then say, let's create another variable, guys, and let's call it total length. So size t, new str length. Yeah, let's just call it new str length, which will be our destination string length plus our new string length. We'll then do a realloc on our destination string pointer, and we'll pass in our new string length plus 1 to include our null byte. We'll then say new str index position new str length is equal to null. We'll also ensure that our new str is not null when realloc returns the pointer that it's allocated. If it is null, then we just return false. Otherwise, we can just say strcat we can just say strcat destination string let's use strcopy instead. So we'll add an offset from which is our destination string length, or current destination string length, to that pointer, then toward current destination string pointer, then we will we can just say new str plus our old length, which is the destination string length, and then we can just pass in our source string. And then now we can just return true. So now, guys, that we have done that, inside of here we can include our strings.h header file. And then in our message list add function, here's what we're gonna do. So we'll say message underscore t pointer new messages equals to let's have a size t, new count, we'll set it equal to message list message count plus 1. We'll then say if we'll also need to ensure, guys, that the message is not empty. So if not message, then we'll just return so we'll calculate the new count, which will be our current message count plus 1. We'll then say just message list index messages is equal to realloc new count plus new count plus new count we need to pass in our messages. But first, we can't just do that, guys. We have to just say message underscore t new messages equals to realloc message list messages, and then we can pass in our new count. We need to multiply by the size of our message t structure. And once we have done that, guys, we can say if not new messages. So if realloc fails, we just return. We'll then say new messages at index position new count -1 dot text is equal to string underscore dup str message. So our string thing that we just implemented, it will be pretty useful, guys. Oh, also, I realized I made a mistake. So each time realloc returns a new pointer to us, we need to reassign it to our destination string. So what we'll say right here is our destination string is equal to our new string. And this should be it. So now we can use our string dup str function. Then we can say now, guys, our message list messages equals to our new messages. Let's create another function too, guys. Let's call it message init. So it will accept a message t pointer message. And we'll also have a void message list underscore init, which will accept a message underscore list underscore t pointer message list. So let's just copy these two things in here. So our message init function. So our message init function, here's what it's gonna do. We'll just use memset and we'll set all the members to 0. So we'll say memset, we'll pass in a pointer to our message structure. We'll then pass in the value of 0. We'll then pass in the size of our message t structure. And then now, guys, here's what we can do. So for our message list init function, we can just say message list messages equals to null and message list message count equals to null, which equals to 0. Right, so our message list add function has been created. Now let's do this for our message destroy function. So we'll just call free message text. We'll then say message we'll then recall message underscore init, and then we pass in a pointer to our message. And then for our message list destroy function, we can then say for size ti equals to 0, I is less than or message list message count I plus plus. We'll then say for each of our messages, our message within our message list, we'll say message underscore destroy ampersand message list messages at index position I. And then now guys, once we're done with that, we can just say, we can just call our message list init function, which will reset everything back to its official state. So message list init, and we pass in our message list. So now guys that we have implemented that, let's try to see if we can actually use it. So let's go in our app.c, and we're gonna include our message list.h file. So hash include message underscore list.h. We're gonna also include our strings.h header file. And let's actually start using it. So here is where we're rendering our message onto the screen, guys. As you guys can see right here, we run our code, we type hello, we press enter. It shows right here. So now we're gonna make it so we can render multiple messages. So guys, let's open up our app.h file. Inside of our app.h file, we're gonna go in our app structure. We're gonna define a yeah, like you see these types, guys, we're gonna move it to a separate file. So we're gonna copy it, we're gonna create a message list def.h file. We're just gonna paste everything in here, and we're gonna create a hash if not defined underscore message list def underscore h hash define underscore message list def underscore h hash and if. We're gonna just include sdl2 slash sdl.h here. And then guys, in our message list.h file, we can just include our message underscore list def.h file. We don't even need to include SDL2 right here anymore, because it's already been included inside of here. So now guys, we're gonna, in our app.h header file, we're gonna include our message list def.h header file, which contains our message data types. So we're gonna have our message list underscore t pointer inside of this up structure, and we're just gonna write message name or variable message list. We're then gonna have a size t message. No, we're not yet. We're just gonna have a message list underscore t message list. That's all we're gonna have. Let's add a comment here. Our message list. And then now, guys, wait, before we get started, let's create a message list display function. This will allow us to display our messages onto the screen. So let's see. It's just gonna take in our message list t pointer message list, and let's actually include our up.h instead, guys. So hash include up.h within our message list. Yeah, because we're gonna just pass in our up underscore t structure, and then we're gonna be using our up renderer to display our messages. So let's just copy this function prototype and go in our message list.c file, and let's paste in our prototype and let's create our function. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna say for size ti equals to 0, I is less than our message list count, message count, I plus plus. We're gonna say SDL underscore set render draw color up render. In our message list definition, guys, we're gonna add some more variables. We're gonna add an SDL color to our message structure. So SDL color, let's call it text color. And we're gonna define another thing. We're gonna call it SDL color canvas color. To make it a little more readable, I'm just gonna move this text canvas thing and put it up here. So SDL rect text canvas, and let's move this up here too. So let's add a comment here. This will be our background for our message, and let's add another comment here. Our actual message properties. Alright. So now that we have done that, we can just say for each of our messages, we can say message underscore list at index position I dot message. Wait. Alright, so guys, all we'll need to do now is just say message list messages at index I dot canvas color use our color underscore 2 param marker that we have, which expands a SDL color. So we can pass it in as a parameter to SDL render draw color. We'll then say SDL render draw rect up render ampersand message list messages index I dot canvas. We'll then we'll then render our message now. Oh, wait, let's also do SDL render fill rect to fill our message canvas or our background. So message list messages at index I dot canvas. So this will be display our message canvas, and then we'll do display our actual message. So we'll say SDL we'll need to use SDL TTF. So since we'll use SDL TTF, maybe we can specify a font for each one of our messages. So in our message structure, we'll say TTF font. We'll include SDL2 slash SDL underscore TTF.h. We'll then say we'll then call this font, so TTF font pointer font, and then we'll also specify of a font size as well. So we'll say int font size. Alright. So now guys, to display our actual message, all we need to do is create an SDL surface. So we'll call it our message surface. We'll say TTF equals TTF render text blended. We'll pass in our message list messages at index I dot font. We'll then pass in our message, which is our text, so message list messages at index I dot text, and then we'll pass in our color. So we'll say message list messages at index I dot text color. We'll then create a texture that we can use with our render. So message texture equals SDL create texture from surface. We'll pass in our up render Then we'll pass in our message surface. Then we will copy our message texture onto the render. So we'll say SDL underscore render copy of render. We'll pass in our message texture, set that to null, then we'll specify our destination rectangle, which will be our message list. Messages at index I dot text canvas. Now here's the thing, guys, we need to set the position of our text canvas because we're gonna have like a little box which will be our actual message canvas, and we'll center the actual text for our message within that box. So we'll set our message position, or actually center our message onto the message canvas. So we'll say SDL, no, we'll say message list, messages index I dot text canvas dot x is equal to our message list, messages index I dot canvas dot x plus our message list, messages index I dot canvas dot width minus our message list, messages index I dot text canvas dot width. Now guys, that you'll realize this is pretty hard to type out, so we'll actually simplify, because each time we're just doing message list index I, it's becoming too repetitive. So we'll just create some little pointers that we can use instead. So we'll create a SDL rect, let's call it pointer canvas, and it will be equal to ampersand message list at index message list messages at index I dot canvas. We'll then say have another SDL rect pointer, we'll call it text canvas is equal to our so we'll say ampersand message list messages at index I dot text canvas. We'll then say, yeah, and this should be it, guys, for now. So now, instead of doing index I every time, we can just pass in our canvas like this, and you guys can see it looks way more cleaner. We can set our text canvas. Let's actually rename this to our, let's just keep it like that. So we can just say text canvas X, and instead of doing dot canvas, we can just say canvas X right here. And then we can just simplify this again. So you can see how much more cleaner this actually looks. Can delete this again. And we can just use the arrow operator, which dereferences our pointer and gives us that element. And then we can literally just divide that by 2, and then we can send to our message. Now before we actually do that, guys, Let's go into our message list add function. It will allow us to specify some properties because we'll allow the user, we'll make it so we can specify a font for a particular message. So it will accept a font for the message. It will then accept the actual message. Wait, let's make it be the font size next, then the message, then the SDL color. Yeah, SDL color, message color, and then a SDL color canvas color. So now we can just initialize these properties by saying new messages index new count -1. Let's set the canvas color equal to our canvas color that we pass in as a parameter. Can also say new messages index new count -1 dot text color equals to message color. Then we can say new messages new count -1 dot font is equal to the font that we pass in, and we can say new messages index new count -1 dot font size is equal to font size that we pass in. So we have the font, we have the font size, we have the actual message that we pass in as a parameter, we have the message color and our canvas color properties set within that structure. We'll also need, let's just get the text size as well, guys. So in order to do that, we'll just say, call our function, which is ttf size text new messages, and then we'll pass in our font, then we'll pass in our message, then we'll pass in a reference to our new messages at index new count -1 dot text canvas dot width, and we'll say ampersand new messages new count -1 dot text canvas dot height. So we'll get the width and our height and we'll store it within those members of the structure. So now that we have done that, we can just run all of this code, right? Now guys, you see when we copy this texture, we'll need to destroy its surface. So we'll call the SDL free surface within our display function. So we'll free the message surface. We'll then say SDL destroy texture message texture. Alright. So now that we have done that, let's actually try to use our message list that we implemented. So let's go back to our app.c. Alright, so this is where we handle our text input, guys. If you notice, we get our character length and all of that within our event loop. But since we implemented a mPlayer concat.str function, we can actually start using that instead. So we can simplify all of this. So here's what we can do. We can just say string concat str or input box. Oh, so I'm using the message buffer. Alright, so let's go into our appconfig.h and see what we're doing. So we have our message buffer, which is equal to null. Okay, so let's continue using that message buffer, guys. So we'll go back to our app.c. We'll say string underscore concat str ampersand message buffer to pass it in as a reference, and then we'll get the source string, which will be our current character. So we'll pass in e.text right here. We don't even need this message buff length thing anymore. Yeah, we don't need to calculate the length anymore. Yeah, so we can just remove this message buff length thing here from our appconfig.h. Yeah. So now we can just get the size of our message buffer just like that. So we call SDL destroy texture right here. Okay, this looks good. Alright, so we don't even need to handle this anymore. This part where we we try to re-render a message surface and a message texture, we just delete it for now. Because now we'll be using our message list to display things onto the screen. So let's try to use it. So whenever we press enter, guys, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna clear our message buffer. Wait, we're gonna clear our input box, right? So we're gonna just say, so this is our message buffer. We rendered it. Okay. So So this is where we actually renders the text on our input box. Now guys, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna copy this thing that I used to render text onto the screen for the input box. So let me just copy this. All of this right here. And then right here where we're rendering stuff, I'm just gonna paste it right here. So we're gonna just get the size of our message buffer. We're then gonna destroy, we don't need to destroy the texture here anymore, but we'll destroy it down below here after copying our texture. So we'll just say SDL destroy texture input box texture. All right. And we'll only do this as long as our message buffer is not empty. So right here where we're getting our input box text canvas width, we'll just say if message buffer is not null. So we just write if message buffer, which will do the same thing. We'll then get the size of our message buffer. We'll then do all of this. So this will allow us to render stuff when our input box text is not empty. Alright, so now that we have done that, we say, you guys can see we handle the enter press right here. So we say if enter is pressed, we're gonna clear our message buffer. Right, so we can just do free. Wait, when we press enter, we're gonna add it to our message list. So you guys can see in our app structure, we have our message list right here. So before we free our message buffer, we'll call our message underscore list add function, which takes in a pointer to a message list. So we'll write ampersand up message list. We'll then pass in our message buffer, and then once we call this function, we will then free our message buffer, and then we will set it equal to null. So now this will prevent us from rendering invalid pointers onto the screen. So when we clear our message buffer, it won't display anything within our input box. Alright, and then now guys, we can actually start displaying our actual messages onto the screen. Right now guys, since we're doing this, we can actually get rid of this part that we use to display our message. So we can just say call message list display. Then we pass in a pointer to our up, and then we pass in a pointer to our up message list. And then let's test it out now guys. So we're gonna need to modify our build script. Let's close some of these header files, these open files in VS Code for now, and focus on the main thing right now. Oh, I need to save this. Alright, so let's focus on our build scripts. So you can see we introduced some new .c files. So we'll need to link with them. So right here where we have our main.c and our app.c, we're gonna write our message list.c. Let me show you guys what will happen if we do not add our string list or strings.c. It will give us an undefined reference error. Wait, let's see what's going on. Wait, let me comment this out, or let's see what's going on. Well, we got a compiler error, conflicting types for message list add. This is easy. So, yeah, we need to modify our function prototype. So I'm just gonna copy this actual function definition and just replace this prototype with this. Alright, so now that we have done that, let's try to recompile. Alright, so I have a few errors in app.c. Passing argument 2 of, that's because I never really specified the fonts and all of those stuff. So we'll need to specify a font to use. Let's use our app font. The font size, we'll specify our app font size. We'll then specify our color. Let's just make it be our message color for now. We'll then need to specify, we need to specify our message right here. So this will be our message buffer, then our message color, our message buffer, then our message color. Then we'll need to specify our canvas color, which is message canvas color. Which we defined in here, which is black. Alright, so okay. Let's try to recompile now. So we run our build script. Alright, so you guys can see it says undefined reference. That's because we didn't specify our strings.c in here. We'll also need to put it in our build.sh as well. So we pass in our message list.c and our strings.c file as well. So now if we run our build.bat script, it should compile successfully. Alright, so let's just paste back this in. Alright, so let's focus on displaying our message now. Our messages. So we just call our message list display function and it will handle all of that. But here's what's gonna happen. we haven't initialized the positions of our messages and stuff. So let's type something like hello. Our input box is given some errors. Oh, so it says we type null. That means something is wrong with our string concat str function. Let's look into that. So we check to see if our source string is null. If it is not null, then we get this length of our destination string. If it is not null, get the source string. Why is that happening? Wait, we reallocate our destination string. Add one to that, we copy into our destination string length. Then reassign it right there. Wait, let's do a little debugging. So let's do a print new str. Right here, so new str. And let's see what's going on. Oh, we get an error. Oh, implicit. Yeah, that's because we didn't include stdio. Let's run this. So if we type something, we type h. Wait, it says the header text surface is not null. It says I typed null. Wait, didn't it call string concat str? It should call it. Alright, so this is our destination string length. Okay. String concat str. Okay, let's see what's going on. Let's try to run our script again, or build script. So I type something, it should run. Okay, so it runs. Let's let it print out here. And let's let it print out line 33. Let's see if our new string is null, why it's failing. So we type h, it goes at here. Oh, that means this is what's getting triggered. Ah, let's wrap this destination string in parentheses and see if it what happens. So if I type H now, it still goes here. Wait a minute. New str is null. Yep, new str is null for some reason. Why is that? What is our new str length? Alright, let's see. So we type H. Oh, shoot. Our new string length is too huge. That's what's happening. We get the string length of our destination string. Wait. Yeah, guys, this is debugging right here. Yeah, we type H. Wait, what is our destination string length? This should work. Our destination string length is 0. Ah, shoot. Yo guys, so I'm taking this new str string length, I'm adding the destination length. No wonder why. So it should be plus or source string length. Yeah, man. So no, it should work. So let's recompile by running our build script. And it should work. So if we type hello world and see, there it is. Let's hit enter. Alright, so nothing shows up here. That's because we haven't really initialized our background canvas, and so that is why. But let's actually validate that this is actually showing our message. So let's go in our app.c and let's change our message color, or appconfig.h actually. Let's change our message color to black. So our message color to black. And if we rerun our program, since our text will not be the same as our background color, if we type hello, then we press enter, it's not showing anything. That's because we haven't initialized the X and Y position of our message. Let me just remove these debugging print statements. Right, so, and now that we have removed those debugging print statements, let's actually initialize our positions. So up here in our up_run loop, let's just define a start Y position. So our start Y position. So we want it to display underneath our chat application in C. So our message will be here in the white area. So let's actually fix that. So inside of our loop that we're rendering stuff, we will initialize our positions for each one of our messages. So we'll say for size ti equals 0, I is less than up message list dot message count semicolon I plus plus. We'll say int start Y will be equal to our header dot Y plus our header dot height plus 10 pixels. We will then set our X position and our Y position of our first message, so our current message at the ith index. So we'll say up message list dot messages index I dot text canvas. Wait, let's do dot canvas dot Y equals to start Y. Let's also define a start X variable. So start X equals to 0. Let's make it be 10. We'll then say up message list dot messages index I dot canvas dot X is equal to start X. We'll then say up we'll then say start Y plus equal to our up message list index I dot text canvas dot height, or message list dot messages index I dot text canvas dot height. So now guys, if we try to rerun our program, let us see what happens. So we're building our code. Let's try typing hello. Still doesn't show on the screen for some reason. Why is that? Let's check our display function. Oh, we never even initialized our Y, so that is probably why it's not working, because we need to center it vertically within our canvas as well. So we'll say text canvas Y equals canvas Y plus canvas height minus our text canvas height divided by 2. Let's see what happens. Type hello. Still doesn't show for some reason. Why is that? Or canvas X. Wait, let's go into our opc. We initialize our start X. Header Y plus 10 pixels. Okay. So we are copying to our text canvas. We render our text right here. Oh, so we need to initialize our canvas actually. Right, so because we're centering it, so we need to say new messages index new count minus 1 dot canvas dot width. Wait, dot canvas will be equal to our new messages new count minus 1 dot text canvas. And then let's set up, yeah, that should be it. Let's see what happens now. So if we type hello, still not showing for some reason. Why is that? All right, let's see if we're actually initializing our canvas positions, right? So start Y. This is our start Y again. And let's see what's going on. Wait, our start Y is 93. Okay. So if we type hello, then we type hello, it's printing something in the console. Wait, let's wait, is the message count being set? Because it looks like that is not happening. Oh, that is the issue. Oh my god, man. So we just need to say message list, message count equals to new count, and then our code should work. Come on. Yeah, let's do that. Alright, so let's type hello, enter. Alright, so now we have something displaying, guys. Alright. Let's try to type something else, John. And you can see it's working, guys. Alright. Now that we have done that, let's actually see why it's not showing the right thing. So we're setting our text color, right? What is our message color? Oh, we're rendering also the background. That's because we need to change back our text color. Yeah, so let's change back our message color to green. So let's run our build script. Let's type hello world and let's go, guys. We did it. But now that we have done that, so the background that we set, right? If you notice, each message is just joining one another. Let's add some more in initialization properties. So let's focus on our message list to solve that issue. So if we go into our message list definition, right, we'll define some padding. So we'll define an integer. Let's call it int padding x, and we'll also have another integer called padding y. So padding x will be the padding horizontally and padding y vertically. So let's go back into our message list.h, and we will change the prototype so we can specify a padding. So we'll have int padding x, we'll have another int padding y. And let's copy this prototype. And let's change our add function so it doesn't conflict with our prototype. Alright, so now that we have done that, we can actually implement our padding logic. So, right where we're setting our canvas, we'll just say new messages index new count -1 dot canvas dot x dot width. We'll just take our padding x and we'll times it by 2. We'll also do it to our height, so our canvas.height equals to our padding y times 2. Right. So now if we rerun our build script, let's see what happens. We have an error because we need to go back into our app.c and specify a padding. So let's see where the error is. So we have our message color right here, then we need to specify our padding x. Let's make it 10. And let's make our canvas color 20. No, our padding y, let's make it 20. No, let's just make it 10 actually. And let's recompile and see what happens. Alright. So we run the application. Let's type hello. Oh, it decreased for some reason. Oh, I see what's going on. So in our message list, we just assigned, but we're supposed to just increment. So we do plus equal, plus equal. If we rerun our code, so our build script, it should work now. So let's type hello world. No, it still joins one another. Let's add another parameter to our function. Let's call it, let's make it an int space y. So that's gonna be the spacing between message canvases vertically. So we'll need to modify this function, and beside our padding y, we just write int space y. And we'll also need to modify our message list definition so we can specify the spacing. So we'll add a space y. Alright. And now that we have done that, we need to set that property. Right, so we set our y. Okay. Now, because we're setting our position from within this function, which is right here, here's what we're gonna do. For our canvas Y, yeah, let's just do this for now. So we'll simplify this right now. We'll get our canvas Y, we'll add our canvas height to it. So our canvas height plus our message list, messages at index I dot space Y. And the only thing we need to do, guys, is just initialize the position of our first message. So let's create a function. We'll call it void message list or start X or start Y and all of that. Let's make our space X a global property of our message list. So let's make it int space Y right here. And we'll just get rid of this within our message structure. We can get rid of it right here. Wait, let's introduce that space Y thing back again. But what we'll set as our global property of our message list, it should be start Y and start X. So whenever we call this message init function, let's not modify the message list init function. Let's just call it void message list set start pos, and it will take in a message list. You enter message list int start X, int start Y. And let's actually define that function now. So right here, we'll just paste that prototype, and inside of our curly braces, we will say message list start X equals to start X, message list start Y equals to start Y. And then we can use this function now, guys, within our display function. and we can say if not message list messages at the top of our message list display function, then return. So we'll exit our function if there are no messages present within our list. Then we will say message list messages at index position I at an index position 0 dot x is equal to our start x. Let's just get our start x. So we'll say start x is equal to message list start x start y equals to message list start y. We will then set our messages, our first message position our first canvas position by doing this. So we'll just say canvas x is equal to our start x, canvas y is equal to our start y, and then we can just increment our start y by our canvas height plus our space y that we have for each one of our message. And then here's what we can do now, guys. We can go back in our up.c up here we can just say, let's do it up here. We can say, wait, this is where we define our start x and our start y. So we can just call our message list set start pos function. We pass in our up message list. We pass in our start x and our start y. Then we call our display function. So now, guys, we can just specify our space x variable right here. And let's make it 10 pixels. So let's try to recompile our code by running our build script. Alright. So let's type hello. Alright, what just happened? Oh, so we forgot to we set our canvas x. Oh, but we need to set it before we actually try to render anything on the screen, or render our canvas on the screen. So let's do that now. So if we type build.bat again in our terminal, it should work now, guys. So if we type hello world Alright, it's almost there. Alright, so we're getting somewhere, guys. So our space y, we didn't initialize our space y, that is why it isn't spacing out our messages. So we just need to say new messages index new count -1 dot space y equals to our space y, and then we can recompile our code and let's see what happens. Hello world, how are you? And there we have it, guys. We can display multiple messages now. Now you guys may realize an issue. Our text overflows. We can't scroll or anything, right? So we'll not focus on that right now, guys. But at least we can display multiple messages now. Yeah, we can literally type and all of that. So guys, in the next episode, this will be it for today's video. We implemented the ability to display multiple messages. In the next video, we will implement a more robust input box system. Because right now we can't even use our backspace, we can't see any cursor in our input box. So we will work on actually allowing the user to use their arrow keys to edit text properly and all of those stuff. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. And also guys, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Thank you all for watching.